Greetings nerdy list aficionados, and we're back again!
Hey guys!
Today we're talking symbiotes and specifically Carnage.
Yes, the scariest, most violent of this. Well, actually no, he's not the scariest necessarily.
Maybe some of these alternates are scarier, but you're about to find out because these are the top 10 scary alternate versions of Carnage. I'm Sasha.
And I'm Kelly.
Let's do it.
And also warning, none of these are Woody Harrelson in that awful wig. I'm sorry to disappoint you ahead of time, but I had to break it to you.
I am really disappointed.
Yeah.
When you mentioned that, I really wanted it on the list.
It would have been comedic gold, but you know, we're sticking to the truth here, friends.
In our hearts.
Yeah, in our hearts, he's terrifying.
Number 10. Exiles the Spider. The Exiles series first debuted in Exiles number 1 in 2001, and was an intriguing premise. It involved heroes from alternate universes being torn from their respective timelines and lives to fix broken realities. At least that was the premise at the start. This series' very premise meant that they went to alternate universes and met alternate versions all the time. So of course, you know, for us, that means it's our dream series. On Earth 15 in Exiles 12, we met the Spider, an alternate version of Carnage that had bonded with Peter Parker, only Peter had red hair and was a mass murderer. So for some reason he had Cletus Cassidy's backstory, but just wasn't Cletus Cassidy. He was drafted by the Time Breakers into Weapon X. What's scary about this version of Carnage is that he just enjoys hurting people, and he's been given license to do so. His gravestone is seen in Exiles number 44, so maybe he's not causing terror anymore.
But all comic book characters do come back. Moving on to number 9, Venomverse. Even when Carnage is on the side of good, he's still absolutely horrific. Such was the case in the Venomverse story event, the one from 2017 that featured a bunch of different Venoms from across the multiverse being summoned by a venomized Doctor Strange to fight against one of the symbiote's main predators, the Poisons, a race that preyed on the Clintar and ate them. Fun stuff. Strange uses his magic to transport a bunch of different venomized heroes to his own dimension, creating a resistance against the Poison's hive. It's not just Venom symbiotes and their hosts that are summoned though. Carnage was also recruited. This occurred when the 616 Venom, Eddie Brock, suggested that they bring him into the fray. This Carnage is one who, on his world, managed to defeat and kill Venom, and despite being utterly volatile at first to the Resistance, he ended up working alongside them. How come? Well, it gave him an opportunity to fight, I quote, a bunch of messed up superheroes. Now, despite being immune to the Poisons, he seemingly died when their hive's ship was blown up, so bye-bye Carnage after all.
Number 8. Ultimate Carnage. Yes, we of course have to take a look at the Ultimate Marvelverse. If you've been here for a while, you've heard us mention it before, but for those who are new and are wondering, what is the Ultimate Verse? Well, let me explain. Beginning in the year 2000, the Ultimate Marvelverse was a venture begun by Marvel Comics as an endeavor to get new readers interested in the comics. There was a sense that their history had become too large and convoluted, and was intimidating for new readers. So with this universe, everything would start fresh, and they would also give the characters new backstories and in some cases new looks as well. This way it wouldn't just be a carbon copy of the main 616 universe. This world would be Universe 1610. In this universe, Carnage is a vampiric organism, made up of a combination of Spider-Man's blood, as well as the lizards, and a little piece of the symbiote suit that Richard Parker was working on. Research. At first, Carnage just needs to feed to survive. It has no thoughts, it just seeks DNA. Eventually it takes on the form of Richard Parker after it has amassed enough DNA. The symbiote arc in this universe was, well, like most things in the Ultimate Verse, very extreme. So it involved Gwen, and this really awful moment where Gwen escaped from Norman Osborn after experiments and is wearing Carnage's face. It's probably still better than that other storyline though, where she had sex with him. That's all I'm saying. It was also a bit convoluted, not like Clone Saga level, but very long to explain. The point? Ultimate Carnage and the mindlessness of it makes it scary. Directed psychotic rage versus a need to just exist, which is scarier? You decide.
You know what else is really scary? Carnage of the Cosmos! Space Carnage, but technically not really. And at number 7, Carnage Cosmic. We may not have seen a whole lot of this number in action, but in theory he is absolutely horrific. Carnage symbiote who has taken Norrin Radd, aka the Silver Surfer, as his host. Yeah, that's got a whole lot of implications I can't even comprehend nor want to. Luckily, Carnage Cosmic was stopped before he caused too much damage. Now, he came to be when Carnage decided he would jump Silver Surfer's bones while the Cosmic character was visiting the Fantastic Four on Earth. He went on a bit of a rampage around New York City until Spider-Man was able to contain him and give the Silver Surfer an opportunity to, I guess, debond from Carnage. It worked, and Silver Surfer locks Cassidy and Carnage up in a prison to reflect on their sins. How thoughtful of him.
Number 6. BIZARNAGE. It's happening, the obligatory mention of the Amalgamverse. This is the universe created by the combination of DC and Marvel superheroes. I bet you're just thrilled we're not mentioning Darkclaw again. So BIZARNAGE was a combination of Bizarro and Carnage. It was the result of an experiment gone wrong at Project Cadmus. The experiment? Scientists were attempting to replicate alien DNA, as you do. However, the creature became crazy, sentient goop. Their words, not mine. It had to be taken down by Spider-Boy, and then it got sucked into an energy containment unit. Just something about the phrase sentient alien goop scares me, but I mean, I guess that's essentially what Venom is. But don't pretend. Symbiotes in real life would be terrifying.
Up next at number 5, Marvel's 1602's Carnage. Candice Cassidy is the host of Carnage from the 1602 universe, a timeline that takes place on Earth 311 and is set in the year 1602. Primarily in Europe. Cassidy is possessed by a symbiotic demon called Carnage, and as she puts it in a very 1602 fashion, I quote, "I've got a demon in me no sacred place can quiet." Carnage would become the leader of the Sinister Sextet, which was made up of Electro and the 311 versions of Mysterio and Kraven, along with a character called Serpent who was very similar to Lizard. They were defeated while robbing a cathedral by the Warriors of the Great Web, a group of dimension-hopping Spider-Man heroes from alternate Earths. The reason why this Carnage appears on our list is, well, I mean, kind of reminds us of The Exorcist, so demon Carnage in a Cassidy who's, you know, no fun and likes criminal activity? I think I'll pass on that one.
In at number 4, Earth 4126. This symbiote is known only as Red at first. I don't know, something about that is just chilling. Red is the color of blood after all, and I'm stating the obvious, so all fear has left you now. This Carnage has an intriguing origin. Its creation was ordered by Director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Phil Coulson, as he wanted their own version of the Venom symbiote, but one under their control so they could take down Venom if they had to. So they mixed some of Venom with some of Spider-Man's blood, and boom, Carnage. Then they tortured it. It's always a sound tactic in comics, guaranteed to come to only good. Through this torture, it learned to live only off of hate and revenge. It escapes like Venom did in the Tom Hardy masterpiece of a film. Am I being sarcastic? You'll never know. It then seeks out this world's John Jameson, cause here he's full of hate and rage. Just so few good things happen to John Jameson. Bad things from being J. Jonah's son. This Carnage is out for blood, but honestly, with good reason.
Up next at number 3, the MC2 Carnage. The MC2 is an alternate Earth in which the Age of Heroes started 15 years earlier than it did on Earth 616. The Age of Heroes being generally marked by when the Fantastic Four first hit the scene in the comics. So, on this alternate Earth, many of the heroes we know and love have retired, and a new generation of heroes have stepped up. So where does that leave our buddy old pal Carnage? Well, on this Earth, he's known as Specimen 297 and bonds with the friend of the next-gen Spider-Man, Spider-Girl. Her friend is Moose, who wanted to use Carnage as a means of curing his father's cancer. Here's where it gets real weird and freaky though. While all this is going on, Spider-Girl's little brother is also infected by the symbiote, which turns him into a miniature Carnage. I don't know about you guys, but a mini Carnage is straight up nightmare fuel. Imagine it like running around and stuff? Nah, that's scary. That nightmare quickly comes to an end though when Spider-Girl manages to use sonic blasters from one of her villains to destroy Carnage. And eventually her little brother is de-bonded, so whew. That's a relief.
Number 2, Crossover Carnage. So this Carnage appeared in the Batman and Spider-Man crossover story Distorted Minds. It follows a long if not frequent history of crossover comics between the two companies. This started with the Superman vs. the Amazing Spider-Man comic back in 1976. This comic we're talking about today comes to us from 1995 and features both Carnage and the Joker, which is interesting because Cletus Cassidy was modeled off of the Joker, so seeing them together is surreal at points. In this storyline, a behavioral psychiatrist, Cassandra Breyer, she comes up with a behavior modification chip that will curb the homicidal tendencies of those who it is implanted in, permanently rendering them docile. So somebody watched A Clockwork Orange basically, only this version has computer chips. Carnage undergoes the treatment, but it doesn't work, cause she completely forgets, oh right, alien symbiote. So Carnage shorts it out right after it was installed. No, Cletus was pretending to be cured so he could meet and team up with the Joker. Yeah, that's terrifying. Carnage's goal is to work with the Clown Prince of Crime to create as much carnage as possible. The best part of this comic is how sad Carnage is when the Joker doesn't like him and thinks his ideas and motivations are lame. Beautiful.
And last but not least, in at number 1, we have Red Goblin. So Red Goblin isn't just an alternate of Carnage, it is an alternate of Norman Osborn's Green Goblin combined with Carnage. Let that sink in for a sec. Yeah, terrifying. It's two of Spider-Man's deadliest foes as one. How did this horrific amalgamation occur? Well, for starters, it happened on 616, so technically you could say Osborn was just one of Carnage's regular hosts, but this creation is too scary to not include on our list. After the events of Secret Empire, you know, the one where alternate Cap runs Hydra and is a Nazi, Carnage, who was held at a S.H.I.E.L.D. facility, was stolen by Osborn, who at the time was powerless. Bonding with it, he was a little overwhelmed by Carnage's desire for slaughter, but eventually he persuaded it to let him take the wheel, with the promise of letting it indulge in a way that wasn't just boring, mindless killing, so sophisticated killing. Using the Goblin serum, Osborn becomes the Red Goblin, and with the combination of both villains' powers, he's able to defeat the likes of the Human Torch, Miles Morales, Agent Anti-Venom, and more. Eventually, Carnage is blown up thanks to Spider-Man when he hits it with an exploding gas tank, leaving Norman Osborn's mind totally fried. Or at least it seems that way. Whoa, so much scary, so much carnage.
I was actually just to be like, ooh, 10 scary carnage. Which one did you think was the scariest? Please let us know down below.
If you guys dug this video, please spread that love. Hit that like button, make sure you subscribe to Top 10 Nerd and, you know, catch more lists with us in them. And more lists just like this.
And hit the bell notification so that you never miss a vid. I'm Sasha.
And I'm Kelly.
Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.